We've learned the woman accused of causing this horrific crash in Los Angeles yesterday is from Houston. Here's a closer look now at what happened. Surveillance video captured a Mercedes speeding right through a busy intersection, hitting several cars. 6 people were killed.
An ADOS dude, there was an ADOS dude named Bill something, Bill the Icon.
Bring all the dirty laundry.
So I wanted to tap in with this story here about this nurse from Houston who's accused of running a red light and speeding into a Windsor Hills, California intersection. And the result was a fiery chain reaction crash that killed 6 people, including a pregnant mother, her infant son, and her unborn baby. She remains held without bail Tuesday after being charged with 6 counts of murder. Nicole L, 37, was also charged Monday with 5 counts of vehicular manslaughter with gross negligence for last Thursday's crash at La Brea and Slauson Avenues. Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon said his office cannot file the manslaughter charge in a case involving an unborn child. Linton, who made her first appearance in a downtown Los Angeles courtroom Monday afternoon shortly after the charges were filed, was ordered to be held without bail at the prosecution's request. She is due back in court for a bail review hearing next Monday, with arraignment postponed until October 26.
All right, so October 26th was the requested date.
Yes, thank you.
The court will continue the arraignment to October 26th of 2022 at 8:30 here in Department 30.
One of Linton's attorneys told the judge that the defense is conducting an investigation into mental health issues and said he didn't believe there was anything to justify treating Linton's case equivalent to a capital murder case. He said she could reasonably post $300,000 in bail. Deputy District Attorney Brittany Vanoy had urged Superior Court Judge Natalie Stone to order Linton jailed without bail, saying that the defendant is accused of traveling at an excessive speed and proceeding through the intersection despite being faced with a red light.
With respect to custody status, could I hear the people's position?
Yes, Your Honor. The people are requesting that the court set a no bail on this case due to the defendant's risk of flight and the significant danger to the public.
If you could speak up, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Based on the defendant's flight risk and danger to the public.
And could you be more specific and provide the nature of the charges?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant currently stands charged with 6 counts of murder as well as 5 accompanying counts of gross vehicular manslaughter, charged in the alternative. The defendant is accused of committing these murders while traveling at an excessive speed. Visual estimations based on video of the incident range between 80 and 100 miles per hour through a busy intersection at about 1:30 or 1:40 in the afternoon on a Thursday. The defendant proceeded through an intersection at Slauson and La Brea at those speeds despite being faced with a red light for approximately 9 seconds. The defendant proceeded through the intersection and struck numerous vehicles. In total, between 5 and 8 vehicles were involved in the collision. Obviously, as the charges show, 6 individuals lost their life as a result of the defendant's acts. In addition, there are 7 other individuals who also sustained minor injuries as a result. The defendant is an out-of-state nurse. She does not have a California driver's license. It's our understanding that she is renting a local room. She has a state license out of the state of Texas. It is reported that she has been a traveling nurse for some time. She has numerous contacts out of state, including a number of prior collisions throughout the United States that the people are looking into. We also are aware of some future travel plans that she indicated she has. So the people are concerned she may be a flight risk, in addition to the fact that she may continue to pose a serious danger to the community.
Linton, who is potentially facing up to 90 years to life in state prison if she's convicted as charged, was arrested on Friday while she was still hospitalized for moderate injuries sustained in the crash. She was released from Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center over the weekend and had been held in lieu of $9 million bail at the Century Regional Detention Center, according to jail records.
And does she have a criminal record?
She's not, Your Honor, not that the people are currently aware of.
And the prior collisions you're referencing?
Yes, Your Honor, we are still obtaining further information regarding those. The most recent of which we are aware is a 2020 collision in which two vehicles were totaled and there was bodily injury. Her statements indicate that she went through a defensive driving course shortly after that, and so the people are concerned about a history of dangerous driving.
Did she have a driver's license at the time of these charges?
Not in the state of California. The validity of the Texas license, I'm actually not positive, Your Honor.
All right, and in terms of the flight risk, your concern there?
Yes, the fact that the defendant does not have a permanent residence within the county of Los Angeles or the state of California. Her permanent residence, as listed by her, is in the state of Texas. Her job is a traveling job. She indicates she has future travel plans to the state of Hawaii for her career and has numerous contacts throughout the United States.
And you're requesting no bail as opposed to the scheduled bail. And can you indicate why?
Because of the significance of this case, Your Honor, the number of charges, the severity of the charges, and the severity of the potential sentence she stands, we're concerned that she may be a flight risk based on that, and we don't feel that any amount of bail would be sufficient to ensure she returns to court, given the strength of the case as well as the number of charges and for her contact out of the state.
Do you have information about her financial resources?
I do not, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Donadino, would like to be heard?
Yes, I would, Your Honor. I don't believe anything that Ms. Benoit has indicated to the court would justify treating this case in essence equivalent to a capital murder case where bail is denied altogether. As the DA has conceded, Ms. Linton has no prior criminal history. They're pointing to a traffic collision potentially a few years ago. We don't know anything about the cause of that collision or any details. The DA has not presented any of that today, whether anyone was even injured in that traffic collision. The DA has commented on the strength of the case, and yet the way this case has been charged, I think, renders that claim somewhat suspect. What we do know so far with the limited discovery is that in the top screen that was performed on Ms. Linton, it came up negative for drugs or for alcohol. And there is no indication that she would flee the jurisdiction. She, in fact, does work. She's been referred to as a traveling nurse, but she works here locally in Los Angeles, lives here locally in Los Angeles. The designation as a traveling nurse is simply a nurse who is able to find work and work in the nursing capacity in different jurisdictions. That is not an indication that she will flee. I will also add that, and again, just respectfully to the court, to the DA, we don't contest the harm that was caused in this case. But the harm and potential sentence, I don't believe, justify denying her bail altogether. It would seem an inappropriate action, motivated maybe by media attention more than anything else, but otherwise untethered from the considerations that court would typically consider in this case. So we are objecting to that request.
And after consideration of the facts presented by both sides, the court finds by clear and convincing evidence that no non-financial condition will reasonably assure the state's interest in victims or public safety. For instance, the court does not believe house arrest would be sufficient here. And if there are mental health issues, sometimes people in house arrest will still leave and still continue to engage in behaviors that are dangerous to the public. You can also disable an ankle monitor. And the court does not believe at this time adequate, less restrictive conditions have been presented to the court. You indicated they're looking into hospitals for families. There may be changing circumstances down the road, but at this time, there are not less restrictive conditions that the court believes would be protect public safety or frankly to ensure the defendant's appearance. She is facing potentially a very lengthy sentence were she to be found guilty, and the court does share the concern of the people as to her being flight risk, especially considering although she is temporarily working here, Los Angeles is not her home base. She may have some family here, but this is not her primary residence, it sounds. So with respect to the amount of bail, $300,000 is the amount you said that she'd be able to afford it. The court does not find that would be sufficient to protect the public or to ensure her return to court. Under Humphrey and Brown, the court would conclude by convincing evidence that preventive detention is warranted in this case. So in other words, no bail. The court orders no bail set in this matter. And I advise Ms. Linton, you have the right and obligation to be personally present for future court proceedings. The trial, preliminary hearing, or other proceeding will proceed without you. If you refuse to be personally present, you have the right to remain silent during the trial, preliminary hearing, or other proceeding. Your absence from the trial, preliminary hearing, or other proceeding will constitute a voluntary waiver of any constitutional or statutory right to confront witnesses against you or to testify on their own behalf. Your counsel will be present for the trial, preliminary hearing, or other proceeding. And Mr. Donahue, anything further?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. In light of the court's ruling, we would ask that the court calendar a bail review for next Monday.
All right, so that will be Monday, August the 15th.
Correct.
That will be 7 Department 30 on August 15th. And so Ms. Linton is ordered out. Anything further from the people?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know what the rule is on that. Yeah.
It's also both easy to get out. I think it's
We've learned the woman accused of causing this horrific crash in Los Angeles yesterday is from Houston. Here's a closer look now at what happened. Surveillance video captured a Mercedes speeding right through a busy intersection, hitting several cars. 6 people were killed, including a pregnant woman and her unborn child, also killing her baby boy just shy of his first birthday. The driver of the Mercedes has been identified as 37-year-old Nicole Linton, a nurse from Houston who was working in Los Angeles. She is still in the hospital, but once she is released, she'll be taken to jail for vehicular manslaughter and gross negligence.